Welcome, ladies and gents. This is the New Key Interview Podcast. This is our first episode. Now, Arkaid, please introduce yourself as our very first guest.
Hey, everybody. I am Arkaid. I am a DJ slash producer based in England, which is in the UK. I've been doing this thing
that
we call music.
Yeah, this thing.
For quite a while.
How long's a while?
So I think I tried working it out. Officially getting paid to do it probably about 9 years previously to that. Maybe 12, 13, 14 years, as long as I can remember.
Right, so quite a while then.
Yeah, just a bit.
What was it that actually got you into the scene then?
So musically, I love radio.
Right.
So I am an avid fan of keeping up with pop culture, what's good, what's bad, what the vast majority of people listen to. So yeah, radio was where I started. Got into DJing via a friend, really close friend, who bought a set of decks, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. We need to do this all the time. So we used to practice as many hours as we could. I was working and my friend was at uni at the time.
Right.
So I'd work, he'd go to uni, we'd both end up going back to his house at the end of the day.
And just smash the decks all night.
Literally, yeah. I'm sure if we weren't in a residential area full of students, we would have annoyed the neighbours, but we were quite fortunate to be living in a student accommodation, so it was brilliant.
A nice setup to start into then.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, okay, so you've said you're a DJ and you produce music.
Yes.
Which one do you prefer?
Definitely DJing, 100% DJing.
Right, and why is that?
I've DJed like a lot longer than I've produced. Learning new things when it comes to production is awesome.
It's quite tedious though, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, if you're listening to the same 8-bar loop constantly and trying to tweak little bits, it can really get to you. But I think overall, if I'm totally honest, definitely DJing. You're under a lot of pressure. And I find that I always strive under that under pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think you've got to perform. You've got to make people dance or at least have a good time.
I have actually seen Arkaid perform, and he is a fantastic DJ. His interaction with the crowd is actually is really good. It's something else.
I appreciate that.
That's all right.
For people that are in the industry, just to clarify, by interaction with the audience, that basically just means I yell a lot on the mic.
Yeah, but you're funny, you're witty, and that's what they'll appreciate or remember.
Yeah, winner. Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's all right. So, who has been a massive inspiration to you in your journey so far?
Wow. Okay, so in my local town, there was a DJ, and there still is a DJ. He produces quite a lot of music. He is Ryan Blythe. Now, Ryan was one of the first sort of DJs that I religiously watched, and he was brilliant. His song selection, his timing of when to play the right song at the right time during a night, was insane. Really good. And I had the absolute pleasure of seeing him DJ pretty much every week for quite a few years.
Are you guys mates now?
Yeah, a funny story actually, because I kept attending the event that he was at. We became like friends. This was at a point where Facebook was really cool, and now it's not so cool.
Yeah, it's on the decline now, I'd say.
Yeah, you could add like family members. So under my family members was Ryan, and he was my dad on Facebook.
Actually, yeah, that was a trend back in school.
I'm pretty sure he's still there. That was definitely one of the cool things, air quotes. So yeah, Ryan was definitely an influence. I think on the bigger scale, maybe internationally or at least sort of other big DJs.
Yeah.
Laid Back Luke, who is definitely still up there as one of my idols. I've been fortunate to meet him and have a conversation with him, And that was, that just sort of sealed it for me.
Didn't you travel to, where did you go just for one night to meet him?
Yeah, I was sort of given a heads up that he was going to be DJing at BCM Planet Dance, and it was a last minute decision. It was really random, but I booked a flight, booked a car hire, and literally went straight from the airport in the car to the nightclub, hovered around the DJ booth like a fly, and yeah, got to have a chat with him. And I gave him a massive hug, and I was just like, you have no idea how much your influence has been on my life, but, I appreciate everything. And he was really humble. He was the nicest guy. He was just like, I really appreciate that. And I said, I've literally driven from the airport to come and see you. I hadn't even booked a hotel. There was no hotel.
Yeah, did you sleep in the car?
Literally, slept in the car. I went from the airport to the nightclub, saw him DJ, saw him smash it out of the park, got to chat with him, and then that was it. And then I was like, right, okay, so what do I do now? Do I sleep? Do I go back to the airport? What do I do? So it was an insane experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's one you'll remember.
Yeah, 100%. I would definitely say if you have that ability or you have that opportunity to do something like that, just do it.
Yeah, it's the rare opportunity, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Right, okay, so you've told us you DJ full time.
Yes.
Where is the best place or your favourite place that you've performed or played for?
When I was starting out, I did an event. It was in a local park. It was like a family fun day. And I remember they had like a dance tent. They'd had a stage and a massive PA. And this was down like one end of the park.
Right.
And they asked, did I want to DJ? And I was like, yes, 100% yes. Of course I do. And yeah, so it was like a family fun day, but they were sort of trying to cater for everyone. So I think there was like bands on at one end of the park, and then like sort of DJs and dancier music on the other end of the stage. And then I think there was loads of stuff for, like kids and adults. And it was like a whole day. So I got to do that, and there was probably about 1,000 people there. And that was when I was first starting out. So at the time I was like, wow, this is like incredible. Yeah, there's like so many people. And yeah, that was probably that was one of the good memories that I have of DJing.
All right. Now we'll flip that to the other side. What's the worst thing that's happened while you've played?
Going back to Ryan and his event, I got given the opportunity to, in the same venue, I got given the opportunity to do a student-orientated event, and this was like maybe 6 months into learning how to DJ, and I thought I knew everything.
That's quite early.
Yeah, 100%. And I was really fortunate, and I'd asked a friend. I was like, look, it'd be awesome if I could get some like club experience, some live experience, and he was like, yeah, sure, come down. Come and do like a warm-up set. And I was like, oh yeah, perfect. I'll get down early, I'll invite as many friends as I can, get them to come and see me, and we'll go from there. And yeah, I rocked up at the club like 10 o'clock. I was like an hour early. I was like super early, super keen. Got there an hour early. This was at a time when CDs were like the go-to. So I wasn't laptop DJing. It wasn't on USB. It was literally CDs. And I remember that week I'd burnt off like fresh, brand new CDs. I'd labelled them all up, written on, exactly what I needed to do, and like when to start a track or whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, right, this is perfect. Got there super early, started the set at 11 o'clock, and they said, all right, so you need to do from 11 till 12, and then from 12 the normal resident will take over. And I was like, yes, this is perfect. I'll impress everybody. Everyone will love me. Right. This will be brilliant. So I played the first track. I can't remember what it was. I don't know what the first one was. But then the second track, I went straight into Break the House Down by Laid Back Luke, which at the time was like a really good song. Like we're talking peak time song.
Yeah, so you're... Okay, go on.
So this is song 2. So song 2, I'm already playing peak time.
And you've
songs.
got 2 people on the dance floor.
I don't even think I had 2. I think it was just me and the empty walls. So by 11:15, I'm playing Hardwell remixes that are like,
oh my god,
yes, 100%. I'm thinking I'm doing really well at this point. I'm like, yes, I'm playing all the best songs. I'm playing all the stuff that everyone loves. And then by like 11:30, I'd completely run out of like all the good songs. And I was like, right, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? So yeah, that was definitely
never
not
going back there again. That's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely had a conversation after that gig that was like, yeah, so maybe don't play all the good songs straight away.
Was the guy following you up a bit annoyed?
I mean, he just sort of looked at me as if say, well, what do I do now? What am I left to play with?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so how did you come up with Arkaid?
I don't know, actually.
Right.
I think it was
Quick
just...
and easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just... I wanted a name that played on a word or something like that. So rather than, the conventional arcade as in like arcade games.
Yeah, games, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted like a play on words, but yeah, I don't really know. It wasn't like anything that I specifically thought, oh, that'd be a perfect name. I kind of thought of a few ideas, and that was the one that I went with. Yeah, that was it.
Right, sweet. Okay, so we'll change it onto production now. Would you say you've developed your own sound yet?
Oh, I think as a producer, you're always craving to have your own sound, and I think a lot of...
Especially as a fresh producer.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of new producers that learn about the industry or learn about production are always sort of towards this. You need your own sound. It's got to be, unique to you and recognisable under your name or under your, brand.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people early doors definitely focus on that, maybe a little bit too much. I think,
they're sort of pressured into it, aren't you?
Yeah, because, everyone talks about this sound, you've got to have a unique sound.
Because that's how you make it. And then...
Exactly, yeah. And I think sometimes if you focus too much on it, you will just end up nothing will be natural, nothing will happen accidentally. You'll be so focused on trying to do that it won't accidentally happen. It won't just, oh my God, this is like, I've never heard this before. I want to keep this in all of my productions. Like, there's a lot of DJs or a lot of producers that, their claps are so unique, and it's because they simply recorded them themselves. They didn't get them from a pack, or they didn't download them. They literally, went and recorded themselves clapping, and people think that, that's such a unique thing, but it is ultimately what stands you out from the crowd. But unless you do that, you're just going to have the same sounds that everybody else has. So it's maybe not spending hours and hours like fine-tuning a clap or a snare roll, specifically for you. It might just be a case of going out into the world and recording stuff that is just yours. And
are you doing this?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'll sit in my car quite a lot, and I record stuff on my phone, like like if I have an idea for stuff, like a melody or a
yeah.
We've
all done that.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen people do it on the bus or the train before, and I often think there's a lot of people that would look and be like, wow, why is that guy doing that? But in my mind, I'm thinking that guy's or that girl is definitely thinking way ahead. Like, they already know what they want to do.
Yeah,
and I
100%.
think that's brilliant.
So have you got yours or not?
What, my sound?
Yeah.
I don't think I have yet. I think there's definitely stuff that I really like, and I like to include it in my productions. Sounds, patterns of structure, or the way that I produce stuff. But I don't think I've defined my sound as yet.
Well, that's fine, I'm sure, because you're still quite new to production, aren't you? So it'll definitely come along.
Yeah.
Have you sent anything to labels yet?
I have sent one track out, and I've not hit a Beatport Top 100 yet. So clearly it was terrible.
What did you do then in that submission to make yourself stand out? Because they're going to get so many submissions. You have to do something different. So did you do anything or not?
Yeah, I labelled up my track with a random word. So I put a random word at the start of the track, and then I labelled it the rest of the track, like, as you would any other track, So, so I labelled it as with a random word at the start, and then in my email I included the fact that I wasn't trying to be like every other producer, sending out like one email to 1 million people saying, "Oh, I've exclusively, sent this to you." I was really open with them, and I said, "Look, I'm sending you this track because I've put time and effort into making it. I feel like it suits your label, it suits your sound, it suits, it fits in with the rest of the things that are being produced, from your record label. This isn't, a copy and paste email that goes to..."
Just sounds like a copy and paste email to me.
Yeah. I mean, it might have done, and they might have just gone, "Nah, this is definitely a copy and paste." But I tried. I tried really hard to sort of say, to be as honest as I can.
Yeah, just
and say,
to be genuine, really.
Yeah, it wasn't a copy and paste to 1 million people. It was genuinely just aimed at them.
Okay, so you've not got any releases, but I know that on your SoundCloud you've done some bootlegs, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done it.
Now,
done
just
quite a lot,
before
actually.
People get confused about a bootleg, but a bootleg is an unofficial remix, right?
Yes.
People just think you can change one of the kicks in a track and that's your bootleg. That's not a bootleg. A bootleg is your own unofficial remix of a track. So tell us about your bootlegs.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you've defined that, actually, because a lot of people think that if you just change a kick, that then you can call it a remix, but that's really not the case. I think for a bootleg, it's definitely got to be something that you bring to the table, whether it's a different set of drums or like a different drop or something. Bootlegs and mashups and unofficial remixes are all sort of, a lot of people lump them together, but there definitely is a line between
separate.
each. Yeah, so I did a Will.i.am bootleg, Will.i.am from the days of Black Eyed Peas.
Who's Will.i.am?
Liar. If you don't know who Will.i.am is.
I'm joking, carry on.
You need to Google that.
No, I know who Will.i.am is, go on.
Okay, so I did a bootleg of a Will.i.am track, and it picked up a lot of traction on SoundCloud, and I was really happy with that, actually. It was something that I really liked the tune, and I really wanted to make it my version. So I edited it down, added a few little aspects. I tried to change the bass line, and this was like early doors. This was like when I thought that you could just change everything on the track.
Yeah, it's obviously got some structure.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth with it, and a lot of listening to stuff back and going, yeah, that was terrible. Maybe don't do that. And then once I was happy with it, once I'd gone into the car and I did the vital car test to see whether it sounded good speakers in the car, then as soon as I go in the car and I test it on the car stereo and I know that the car stereo sounds perfect, then I always think that's ready to go. So yeah,
testing your finished track on as many different outputs as you can is very important, actually.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right. Any other bootlegs you've done, or was that just the one?
No, I've done a lot. This is the point where I'd do a shameless plug and be like, check out my socials. You'll see all the bootlegs that I've done.
We'll get to that at the end. Don't worry.
But no, so I've done a Will.i.am one. I've actually done, in more recent times, I did like a mashup version of some Skepsis tracks, which has also picked up a lot of traction, which is quite cool.
Very nice, very nice. Well done.
What else have I done? I've done, I've just, if I like a tune and I really like it, then I try and do something to make it mine. Trouble by A Fire. He brought out Trouble, and I did a version of that, and that seemed to go well. So
brilliant. All right, so we asked your fans and my followers some questions for you. Right, first one: what's the worst fancy dress you've been to a gig in, or you've played at a gig in?
Okay, so I've done a lot of student-orientated events, still do student-orientated events. So you sort of get roped into acting the fool to be part of whatever theme it is that week. Yeah. Whether it's German market theme, whether it's a Disney theme.
I'm sure you fully embrace all of these themes, don't you? I know what you're like, so.
All of these. Yeah, I think the worst, as far as worst for DJing, was I actually went to a fancy dress shop and I hired giant Woody from Toy Story, and it included the head. So the head was massive. It was, it was like 2 foot wide, 5 foot high. It was massive. It was huge, and I had to obviously to make the costume outfit look the part, I had to wear the head. Otherwise, it just looked like I turned up trying to be some sort of knockoff cowboy, and it didn't work. So I had to wear the head in order to make it work. Well, obviously, when you've got a giant head, you can't put headphones on. You can't see anything. So looking at us,
you should have spoke to Marshmallow and got some advice off him.
Yeah, I have no idea how they managed that. Like deadmau5, obviously, I think I read somewhere that deadmau5 had like a screen, like a mini screen inside his helmet.
That'd be insane.
Where he could see like out. There must have been a camera incorporated in that somewhere.
Yeah,
but there was basically like a screen inside the helmet, so he could still see. But I have no idea how Marshmallow does it. There's a lot of like DJs that wear masks or cover up their face, and I do not envy them in the slightest, because it gets warm. It gets really warm.
So you're a giant Woody then?
Yeah, giant Woody all the way.
Unrelated to DJing, but are you a vegan?
Controversial, but no, I am not.
Someone has asked, if you didn't play Sing It Back by Maloko, did you really play your set?
No, it's a very good song. It's a very, very good song. I think it's got to be a time and a place. I think student events probably not so much, but a lot of the other events that I do, that's definitely one to at least sample, if not play.
Okay, right. So back to DJing then. You're definitely a successful DJ. That is your full-time job. You're living off of that. So you're probably quite ahead of a lot of people that are trying to make it, whatever. But where are you wanting to be? What is your end game? DJing and producing, like all of it.
Yeah, I think definitely production. Definitely pick that up, step that up, get the productions nailed on. Definitely get more, out into the world. There's a lot of stuff. I think because it's so personal, because you've put a lot of time and effort into making something that is yours, solely based on what you've done. I think that you become quite, or at least maybe for me, become quite precious, and you sort of you want to make sure that track is 100% brilliant before you send it out into the world. Hard. So I think maybe just taking a leap of faith with my own ability, knowing that I've put in the hard work, I've listened to enough music, I've played to a lot of people and worked out what works and what doesn't work, and when I think definitely as far as that, it would definitely be a case of putting it out into the world and seeing where it takes me.
So are you wanting to be a festival headliner one day, or is that too far?
No, I think your dreams can never be too big. I think if you were always reserved and you always thought, oh well, I'll just do this or I'll just do that, I think you should never settle. I think your dreams should never be about settling. If you want to do something, put a plan into action, write it down, make yourself, definitely something that I've learned from a lot of people is make yourself accountable, but make yourself accountable to the people around you, the people that you trust, the people that are going to tell you, like really good friends that are going to tell you, well, actually, you need to do this.
No, man.
You
don't want yes men. You don't want to be surrounded by that, which I've heard in this industry you find quite common. Yes men.
Yeah, sometimes it's a difficult one. Like once you sort of start getting a bit of traction and your name appears on flyers or you mentioned in circles regarding like events that are quite cool events or big events involving some headline names, everyone wants guest list, everyone wants to turn up, everyone wants to be a part of that. But I think if your circle of friends aren't there when you're grafting, you've got to take everything that happens after the graft with a little bit of pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's definitely going to be new friends and new associates that you have. Once the ball starts to roll, and don't just blanket everyone and think, oh no, you only want to talk to me because you want something out of it. There's definitely people that I've met since I've started DJing that are, you know, just really nice people. Definitely just
is that me being one of them?
Yeah, it's funny. Obviously, you know, I haven't known you a ridiculous amount of time, but I think it's a very mutual thing. I would look at anything that you were doing and want you to do the best, and I would hope that, you know, that was returned.
Oh, 100%, definitely. Right, you've just given us a bit of advice there, but we'll round off this interview with some more. What advice would you give to new people into the industry or wanting to get into it?
I would say use the internet. In fact, no, scratch that. I would say try and get to as many gigs as you can of people that you love. I know that going to big festivals and going to, you know, like massive headline events where you can see 5, 6, 7 big names all at once is, you know, it's great value for money. You know, because you pay for one ticket and you get to see all these really cool names. But you are never going to see what they're doing if you're wanting to get into DJing. You're not going to see what they're pressing on the CDJ. You're not going to see how they mix a song because they're just so far away. So I would say if a DJ's at your local club or at a club or an event that is near to you rather than on a big scale, try and get to that gig. Try and watch them, see what they do. Go to the gig, enjoy yourself, definitely enjoy yourself. But if DJing is something that you seriously want to get into, or at least, you know, want to step up a level, definitely go and watch them. See what they do. See how they interact with the crowd. Do they talk on the mic? Do they loop things? Do they use hot cues? Do they use acapellas? You know, try and learn as much as you can from the gig. Yeah, that's probably it. If you can't do that, because I know that, you know, sometimes that's not feasible, use the internet. The internet is such a great tool for that. There are so many really good channels to subscribe on YouTube. You know, going back to my idol Laidback Luke, he does a lot of vlogs. He does a series
I've seen
called,
them. He's very good at teaching.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He does a series called In My Mind, and basically he will talk you through what is going on during one of his sets. So let's say he's done a massive set at, I don't know, a big festival in America, and this festival's like 10, 15, 20, 100,000 people. You're never going to see what the, you know, you're never going to be able to get close enough to the DJ booth. So what they've done is they've filmed it. They've filmed, you know, the entire decks. They've filmed the view of the crowd. They've viewed, you know, there's a camera on Laidback Luke himself, and then he analyzes it and talks you through it, and he explains what he's doing the entire time. So whether he's turning a filter, whether he's EQing, you know, a track while he's bringing it in, whether he's triggering like a hot cue, he talks you through it. And
yeah, he's very thorough. I do agree with recommending those videos.
Massively so. He you know, he's taken what people want to know and he's put it into something so easy. So yeah, definitely use the internet. The internet is definitely a bonus when it comes to learning. Yeah,
I agree with that. Definitely, there's so much out there. Okay, so thank you for coming on, Arkaid. It was great to have you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for being our very first guest as well. How special do you feel?
Cheers for having me. I know that there's a lot of potential with this, and I know that there's going to be a lot of really good guests. I know that
I'm hoping so.
I know that the plans that Nuki have are massive. So definitely stay tuned. Definitely subscribe. Definitely, you know, give some feedback.
Obviously today I'm on my own, but next time when we get the chance, I will have the other half of Nuki, Jack, on here too. So thanks, Josh. Just close off with your socials. How can people find you?
So I've made it super easy. So it's at ArkaidDJ on pretty much everything. Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud.
I'll put the links if I can, where I can, obviously, for you.
Legend. Appreciate that.
Brilliant. Right. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.